It's done by Momentum Performance Materials. I have an entire study that I could email you after if you want to dive into it more, but it's the only time I've seen this beautiful wall section laid out where we look at 7 different wall types. You're looking at here, cavity insulated on a framed wall, permeable exterior insulation, impermeable exterior insulated, permeable exterior insulated on masonry. So we're looking at mass walls, permeable split insulated on framed wall, impermeable split insulated on framed wall, and an impermeable interior insulated on masonry. So there's a lot of different ways we're putting these walls together. And then they're looking at it between the 8 different climate zones. And what they found was this beautiful statement that we hear every day, which is it depends. When do you use one or the other? And it always depends. But this chart that you're looking at here, it's got those different walls laid out on the left and the climate zones on the top. And what's important that we look at today here is saying the green dot is when they suggest low permeance barriers. And you also see this dashed line up here. So inward flow is the bottom, outward flow is the top. So it's saying in climate 1, in the stud wall here, if I want my outward flow, if I want to flow my vapor outward, I'm going to use a low permeance barrier. If I want my flow to go inward, I'm going to use a high performance, no interior vapor restriction. As I move over to climate 7 and 8, I get the high permeance that is allowed. So all this to say, like, you can, in every single one of these climate zones and all of these wall assemblies, use high permeance barriers depending. So if it's orange, that means no interior vapor barrier restriction is needed. If it's yellow, it means, yeah, you can use a high permeance air barrier, high performance, that allows this vapor flow so that we get drier wall assemblies that are more energy efficient. But you've got to consider everything from the interior wall, everything outward, that all is worked through. And that is where your building consultants are worth their weight in gold, is they're helping you figure that out, because it ensures so much of your mechanical engineers, everybody's figuring out what are we doing here and ensuring that we get what we want. We've thought through all of that. So again, when you talk about, do I want one versus the other, and that comment is it depends, we're talking about, what do you need that barrier to do? Because high and low permeance barriers can work in all climates, but everything needs to be considered from the inside all the way to the outside. So we're not just looking at materials, we're looking at that specific wall assembly on this specific project, which means I've seen a lot of architects start to develop standards of wall sections so that they can start to understand all of the components that we need to go in here that supports that wall assembly to ensure we get it built the way we want it to be built.